strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know that. I mean, I don't even know why it's a discussion anymore, but you already know that. It doesn't matter who's sitting here. Who matters is what's sitting on the other side. Yeah, you know how that goes. Yes, you do. Anyways, we are... Well, hold on before we get to that. Today is Friday, February the 17th of 2023. Day 48th of the year, and only 317 days left to go. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at, because if not, we would be doing stuff somewhere else. And then that would just be an awkward thing altogether. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Oh, should I hit it? Yeah, go ahead.
We're rocking all day at work because we don't give a duck. Autocorrect probably just saved my ass there.
Like I give a flying, you know.
Yeah, you know how it goes. So, yes, a lot of stuff going on this lovely Friday. Yeah, that's some stuff to talk about. There are things that are going on inside of the multiverse, the multiplex, and the multi-planet, so don't worry about that. I am going to have you taken care of for the next couple hours or so, because that is what I do. And hold on, I did say next couple hours. You're probably sitting there going, hold on. I thought the show was an hour. Yes, the Rated R Safety Show is an hour. I got you for 3 if you hang out through the whole sequence of events of what we do around here, because I do jump into radiobig.fm. So I always tell people, depending on where you're hanging out, you can do the video aspect, which I don't know why the hell you would want to do that kind of torture to yourself, but I get it. Also, you can go into our Radio Big app. You can also go into our other streaming platforms and what we have going on. So it's always a good time for us to get to hang out and do the things that we do. So with this being said, let's talk about what we do here. It is Freeform Friday, so it means that we talk about any nonsense that comes up, because that's the easiest way to do it on a Friday. Also, we're mostly known as a show that talks about safety in the news and safety, and we blend those worlds together because it's important to blend them. Come on. Who the hell just wants to talk about one or the other? So we give you multi-sides of what is going on, because that is the best way for us to do the things that we do around here. So keep that in mind as we are talking. We'll get you moving and grooving your general direction this morning as we are talking. But with this being said, let's get busy right away and talk about what is trending.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so in the trends of the ends in the overnight, North Korea Kim dynasty solidifies its footing while the EV wars heat up stateside. We'll talk a little bit about that. Some 2024 polling and the weird climate change protesters seems to be missing some key facts. We can talk about that. Paris Hilton wore a disguise to keep her son's birth a secret, and Slash says that Guns N' Roses would not survive today's cancel culture. So there you go. And Ryan Seacrest is leaving live with Kelly and Ryan, and How to Train a Dragon is getting a live action remake. We can talk a little bit about all that stuff if you so care or inclined. Now, listen, if you want to come out, hang out, and do the gimmick stuff where you can get into the radio station doing video chat or doing some kind of text messaging or audio chat, you're more than welcome on doing that. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com and we'll get that moving and grooving. Anyways, I am so excited, and not that so much it's Friday, because people get kind of weird when it's Friday, like it's a big deal, like it's different than any other day of the week. I'm just excited that today is a great day, and we're going to do some fun stuff. We're going to have some fun. We're going to take care of some stuff, and we're going to take a look at what's going on inside of our worldo, because that's always important for us to have that discussion. So we do bring in some people that are pro broadcasters, because they know what the hell they're talking about, as I am just sitting here kind of messing around and doing my thing. So that will be part of what takes place. We'll give it all to you. What I ever see come through the chatty addies of, on call-in radio. I'll talk about some of that stuff, so don't worry about that. So we'll get that taken care of for you, and then that will be how our world continues. It's kind of a fun, easy format on how to do it. You can follow along at safetyfm.com, radiobig.fm, if you want to do it in that particular fashion. Now, with that being said, I think we need to get into some news stuff because that's what we do.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Jim Forbes. Federal and local officials are assuring families in East Palestine, Ohio, that they're safe despite concerns about exposure to toxic chemicals following a train derailment. EPA Administrator Michael Regan visited the community and said air and water quality tests have shown no contamination. Regan said nearly 500 homes and municipal wells have been tested with no detection of vinyl chloride, hydrogen chloride, or other toxic chemicals released when the train derailed earlier this month. He said officials are offering voluntary screening to everyone in the community and are conducting 24/7 air monitoring. U.S. Customs and Border Protection confiscated over 1,000 pounds of cocaine and 543 pounds of methamphetamine at the border between Michigan and Canada last year. The agency recapped 2022 Thursday with Director of Field Operations Christopher Perry saying seizures of meth were up 2,000% from 2021.
These counterfeit commodities are often used by criminal enterprises to support criminal activities, terrorism. So by us enforcing those intellectual property rights laws, we're keeping the country safe from things like terrorism and drug smuggling and criminality.
He added they also seized a large amount of counterfeit items last year and worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The 5 Memphis police officers charged with murdering Tyree Nichols are set to appear in court today. They were fired after footage was released of Nichols being beaten after a traffic stop in January, eventually dying 3 days later. And a storm system moving across the country has most of the eastern two-thirds of the nation under some form of weather alert. Much of the Deep South is under a tornado watch or severe thunderstorm watch, while the Ohio Valley may see thunderstorms and heavy winds. I'm Jim Forbes.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage. I'm talking the truth. Radio.
Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown is calling on Governor Mike DeWine to declare the recent train derailment in East Palestine a disaster. In a letter to the governor, Brown says he remains concerned about the hazardous materials in the air and the long-term health impacts this will have on residents. Brown added it's a man-made disaster that will impact the city and its neighbors for years to come. Declaring the situation as a disaster will allow for full federal funding in cleanup efforts. Former baseball player and broadcaster Tim McCarver is dead at the age of 81. Brian Shook has the very latest.
He played 21 seasons in the majors and won 2 World Series titles with the St. Louis Cardinals. McCarver played for the Cardinals, Philadelphia Phillies, Montreal Expos, and Boston Red Sox. The catcher was a 2-time MLB All-Star and retired from the game in 1980. He would go on to serve as the lead analyst for 23 World Series broadcasts. I'm Brian Shook.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman is being treated for clinical depression. That's according to a statement from the Democrats' chief of staff. Fetterman is currently at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Maryland, receiving inpatient care. A statement notes Fetterman has dealt with depression throughout his life, but it became more severe in recent weeks. On Twitter, Fetterman's Pennsylvania colleague, Bob Casey, praised him for, quote, getting the help he needs and being public about it. And actor Bruce Willis has dementia. In a statement, his family confirmed a diagnosis of what's called frontotemporal dementia, or FTD. The revelation comes nearly after a year it was announced he had been diagnosed with aphasia, the loss of ability to understand or express speech. His family at the time said the diagnosis had been impacting his cognitive abilities. I'm Jim Forbes.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this marvelous Friday, fantastic Friday, whatever the hell Friday that you want to call it. So that's kind of really the way that it goes. So let's start getting into the shit list, because that is what we do around here. We talk, not that we talk about a shit list, not a list of shit. We talk about everything that's going on, and it comes to me via a list. So it's kind of the way that it works. So we start talking. It goes like this. The appearance of Kim Jong-un Jr.'s daughter, Kim Ju-ao, at the public event in the recent weeks is believed to be a direct response to the attention his sister Kim Yo-young has gotten. Kim Yo-young is the senior official in North Korea propaganda apparatus and has signed her name threatening statements directed at the regional allies and the United States. At the time, the analyst suggested that this could mean that she's wrestling for power within the Kim family. She also rose to prominence when Jr. disappeared from public appearance for weeks in 2020 amid the pandemic, while rumors swirled that he was in poor health. Worth remembering, threatening Junior's power has been perilous for family members in the past, and he had his uncle killed back in 2013. Meanwhile, Radio Free Asia has reported that the North Korea has ordered anyone with the name Jual to change it because you ain't going to share the name with the supreme leader. Yeah, so if you have that name, get out of it. Get rid of it. Change it to something else. So I got a question. When you get some kind of dictation in regards that you can't have a name that you have, does that mean you get to change it to anything you want? Because I'm kind of curious on that, because that could make it pretty interesting.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. Ford plans to build a $3.5 billion plant in Michigan for manufacturing EV batteries. The site will employ about 2,500 people and open in roughly about 2026. Meanwhile, at Cadillac plans to announce 3 EV models this year, which will hit the market in 2024. No word yet on the models, and will get the electric battery treatment. Meanwhile, at Bentley plans to build 61-story condo tower in Miami, where owners will have in-unit garages and a powered lift to take their vehicle right into their home. Each garage will have the space for up to 4 cars and charging ports. The entry level of the cost, you ready? I hope you're sitting, is $2.4 million. 2.4. Oh, no. Hold on. I don't know how to read. I'm seeing things backwards. I said that wrong. $4.2 million. What was I thinking? 4.2. Just a little misery. What the hell? What the hell? I don't know if I really need my car in my condo at $4.2 million. But then again, if I'm sitting around and sleeping with my car, well, I probably don't. I have a lot of other concerns to think about.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, the Codex Sasson, the oldest, most complete Hebrew Bible, is slated for auction. The book is comprised of more than 100 animal skins, and it is believed to have been penned by one writer, the current owner, and its heir to the wealthy banking family. The auction will begin on, May the 16th, and it is expected to sell for at least $30 million. Yep, $30 million. So if you buy this book, you can get your happy ass down to Miami and get you a $4.2 million condo where you can sleep with your car. What a deal, huh? What a deal. What a deal of deals. Take a listen to this. Germany will become the first country to sell plant-based chicken McNuggets from McDonald's next month. McPlanet Nuggets. Okay, McPlant Nuggets is what it's called. Were developed at the meat alternative company Beyond Meat and will be made from peas, corn, and wheat. McDonald's has plans to eventually broaden the rollout. And the Arches, yes, the Arches has already made a plant-based burger and a permanent menu item with a few foreign markets. So there you go. There you go. Some stuff to take a linger at if you want to look at it. Anyways, take a listen to this. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 4 times. Well, if you own a pizza franchise and you get robbed, you probably take some precautions to stop another robbery. But what happens when you're robbed 4 times in the span of a month by the same guy? Police in Nashville have arrested a man who apparently broke into the same Donato's Pizza 4 times between October the 30th and November the 24th last year. Each time he walked away with some beer and also racked up some cash and gadgets during the break-in. The 46-year-old corporate has been charged with multiple burglary counts, vandalism, and theft of property. Listen, I don't know maybe pizza is different in your neck of the woods than what it is in mine, but holy shit, I don't think that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be going around stealing some pizza. That's for sure. That's something to think about. So I don't know. Just as the worlds collide there, that's for sure. Take a listen to this. If you don't have much going on this weekend, let's talk real quick about what the hell is streaming on the video on demand platforms, at least the few that I checked. So what's streaming new to Amazon Prime will be 3,000 Years of Longing and A Simple Favor. New to Hulu will be All Roads Lead to Rome, Black November, Forsaken, Game of Love, Rogue Agent, and shut in. And new to Netflix, well, according to what I could find, was Unlocked. Yes, Unlocked. So there you go, some stuff to take a gander at if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, with that being said, let's bring some John Small inside of here and let him tell us about what's going on in the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, February 17th, 2023. Equity markets pulled back in late-day trading Thursday as the realities of high inflation set in. The January PPI report confirmed that inflation is not only running hot and well above the Fed's target rate, but also accelerating again. In this light, the expectation for FOMC easing later in 2023 is misplaced due to a growing need for ongoing action. The risk now is not that the FOMC may cause a recession, but that it now needs to cause a recession to tamp down inflation. Friday's action could tell the tale. Is the S&P 500 in a rally that can continue, or is it at its peak and about to correct? As it is, the S&P 500 index is having difficulty getting over resistance at the 4150 level, and bearish indications are firming. Another pullback in the price action, given the decline in the outlook for S&P 500 earnings, could easily retest the 2022 market lows and even set a new low. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
I know. Not what you want to be hearing on a Friday going into a weekend, but hey, we had to talk about it. Let's keep it real. You know, that's what we do around here. We keep it as real as possible. So the Dow lost about 431 points on Thursday to close at 33,696. The S&P lost about 57 points to close at 4,090, while the NASDAQ lost about 214 points to close at 11,855. West Texas Intermediate closed at $78 a barrel, while Brent crude closed at $84. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.42 on Thursday. Bitcoin slid on Thursday, losing about 1.25% and trading just over $24,000. Now sit back and relax when I tell you the next thing. There was more than 4,137 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Thursday, and more than 548 such cancellations. Hopefully you were not stuck like Chuck yesterday when it was all said and done. Anyways, tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $84 million jackpot or $44 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $73 million jackpot or a $38.5 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game can be played. You just have to know how to do it. So there you go. That's some stuff going on right there. What do you think? What do you think about it? Coolio. That's always important as we are talking. Take a listen to this. This news is coming out of California. Parents are furious after a fake memorial was set up for a 13-year-old black student with autism at the middle of a school in South Los Angeles, even though he's still alive. The boy's mother spoke with the news conference on Thursday.
I'm outraged that someone targeted my son. My son he don't bother anyone. He's just such a sweet boy.
Someone set up a memorial to the boy Benito Middle School earlier this month. Candles and food were left on the ground in front of pictures of the boy, Jamari Baker. The pictures were captioned with "Rest in peace, Jamari Baker. We will miss you." Another paper read, "Shot and killed by a gang member in South L.A." Baker's family is now calling for the state investigation. It is unclear who's responsible for the prank, but Baker's family thinks it's an adult. I mean, this is kind of terrible. Let's just be realistic. It's an autistic kid of what exactly is going on. And let's even take that out of it. This is not something you do to a child. I mean, this is not even something that you could deem funny. I mean, some jackass probably sat back and said, okay, let's do something right here. Now, listen, if I'm an asshole adult, meaning me, and I decide to do that to another radio station or what some people would think that they're my competitor, I get that. That's kind of fun. And, you know, we're calling to an end to a radio show, a podcast, whatever. That's joking. Back to a kid at a junior high? I mean, that's just way too much. I don't even know what to say. Seriously. It's pathetic.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, I guess keeping around the same subject matter, parents and students are sounding off in New Jersey after a suicide of a student who was bullied. Scott Pringle has more info.
Students and parents lashed out at board members of the Central Regional School District in Berkeley Township for what they feel is a culture of bullying.
She already reported about how she was being bullied, and you guys just sat there and did nothing.
My daughter has anxiety because of this place.
This was the first board meeting since 14-year-old Adriana Cush took her own life days after videos spread on social media of her getting attacked in school. The interim superintendent insists the district had been following state law and anti-bullying efforts and says they will do more to prevent it in the future. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New Jersey.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You're going to do more post-event. Okay, I got more I'm going to do. I'm going to give you more. That ain't going to do shit for anybody. I mean, let's just be realistic. The girl committed suicide because she was being bullied, and your resolution is we'll do more later. We'll do more later. I mean, how does that even sound? We're talking about a kid that cannot come back, not coming back from this. It's just sometimes we have some of these weird things that we incorporate on. We have a limitation on what we can do. But what was resolved? I mean, today is one of those weird days as we're talking about a lot of the things that are going on, but it just gets it gets weird. It gets weird as we're talking. I mean, there is no doubt about it. I just look at it and go, what do you do at the school board level? And how do you resolve these issues when you see them? Just a lot of things going on. Coming out of Colorado, take a listen to this. Avalanche danger is up in Colorado High County, or High Country, because of the snowstorm that just moved across the state. It's a safety concern because a lot more people have taken to the mountains for the President's Day holiday weekend. Brian Laser with the Colorado Avalanche Information Center urges anyone doing so to be extra cautious.
This is a notoriously dangerous weekend for us. President's Day weekend has unfortunately seen its fair share of accidents, including fatalities. And so we really don't want that trend to continue for this season.
Okay, the danger reflects the pattern of the latest storm of the south that was hit with more snow. Avalanche risk levels are high in the southern mountains and lower to the moderate and further north. The Colorado Avalanche Information Center updates avalanche dangers across the state daily with maps and information in its website. Elena Smith in the mountains Charlotte in Colorado Springs encourages people to rent avalanche safety equipment with their regular gear. What exactly is avalanche safety equipment? I'm kind of curious.
We get people coming in and wanting to go skiing, trying either new skis, types of skiing that they haven't done before, coming back and renting equipment.
Why did it sound like she said new skis? They want to try some new skis. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, it's been a dry February in Ventura County, California, but it appears it will change next week. Daniel Martindale has more.
The National Weather Service is forecasting a storm that could bring up to 2 inches of rain to some areas. It's expected to roll in by the middle of next week and peak next Friday. February is traditionally the wettest month of the year in Ventura County, but so far this year that was January, with rainfall totals exceeding the yearly average by several inches. Meanwhile, it's been freezing cold this week. On Thursday morning, Ojai had a low of 26 degrees and Westlake Village had a low of 27 degrees. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for the information. SpaceX is planning another morning launch from northern West Santa Barbara County. Daniel Martindale reports.
A Falcon 9 rocket is scheduled to take off from Vandenberg Space Force Base at 11:12 a.m. The rocket is carrying 51 Starlink internet satellites into low Earth orbit. If the launch is delayed for any reason, it will be pushed to Saturday morning at 10:58. The first stage booster being used is a veteran of SpaceX rocket launches. It has been used in 7 past launches, including 6 involving Starlink payloads. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Thank you, Daniel Martindale. Take a listen to this. Mayor Lightfoot isn't giving up on keeping the Bears in Chicago. The mayor said that the city can make a very compelling business case for the team staying in the city.
With retrofitting the Soldier Field and some of the ways that we've talked about, really maximize the revenues for the Bears, significantly enhance the fan experience at Soldier Field.
Lightfoot comments come after the team this week finalized a deal to buy the Arlington International Racecourse site in order to possibly build a new stadium in suburban Heights. So it'll be interesting to see that things are going on. I mean, that's just kind of the way that it works when it's all said and done. So there you go. Some information on what is going on inside of the world right there. Anyways, let's continue talking. What else can I give you real quick? Let's bring this one out of JFK real quick. Let's talk about this. Terminal 1 at the busy JFK will be closed all day today because of an electrical problem. Scott Pringle reports.
Terminal 1 is pretty much empty. The Port Authority says a power outage was caused by an electrical panel failure, which also caused a small overnight fire, and that has completely shut Terminal 1. This means flight cancellations, delays, and flights being rerouted to other terminals and even other airports. This is frustrating flyers trying to get to their destination before the holiday weekend.
And I hope that they'll reimburse me for the hotel, the airfare, and my connection that I'm losing out on.
They're saying we won't get out until Sunday, possibly.
Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Oh, that's what you want to hear. You're there on a Friday. You're not going to get out till Sunday. Shit. You're probably thinking right away, where's the closest airport after this one? Because sounds like I'm going to be doing some hoppity-hopping all the way over there to get everything moving and grooving. There is no doubt about that as we are talking. Anyways, we are close enough to what we do on Freeform Friday, which is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. And we are going to start talking once again. Well, what do you think we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about the important stuff. We're going to talk about the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Russia is unlikely to hit its goal of capturing Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine by the anniversary of the invasion of the country. That's according to analysts, as a senior US official says the conflict will ultimately end at the negotiating table. William Denslow reports from Kiev.
According to the Institute for the Study of War, Russia is not quickening its advance on Bakhmut in time to capture it by the 24th of this month. The think tank says that Ukraine could pull back its forces, but has so far shown a reluctance to do it. We've heard from Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky saying that Bakhmut has become a living fortress. Now, in an interview with the Financial Times, we've heard from the chair of the US Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley. He says it's almost impossible to see Russia achieve their political objectives in Ukraine through military means.
UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's in Belfast for meetings with political parties amid claims a Northern Ireland Protocol deal is close. He'll also meet with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in Munich at the weekend. Japan's ruling coalition is agreeing to empower the Defence Force to shoot down flying objects in its airspace. The government suspects 3 past cases of Chinese spy balloons over the country between 2019 and 2021. Chris Gilbert reports from Tokyo.
Japan's ruling LDP party wants to relax the requirements around using weapons against unidentified flying objects, and it's just achieved consensus from its coalition partners to do so. Lawmakers say the government would empower the self-defense forces to fire weapons in situations where air traffic is put in danger. Currently, Japan can only use weapons for self-defense. Chris Gilbert in Tokyo.
The US is set to return $954,000 to the Nigerian government. It's money allegedly stolen by a former governor in Nigeria's southern state of Bayelsa. Tessem Akende reports from Jos.
U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Leonard, and Nigeria's Solicitor General, Beatrice Jedi Agba, signed an agreement for the repatriation of the funds in Abuja. It follows the completion of forfeiture proceedings against property and investment funds located in the U.S. states of Maryland and Massachusetts linked to the former Nigerian governor, Dieprie Alamesia. The U.S. government says it was impossible for the former governor to have legitimately possessed such money since his salary while as governor between 1999 and 2005 did not exceed the equivalent of about $81,000 annually. The Nigerian government says the money will be used for the construction of a healthcare center for residents of Bayelsa State. The project will be monitored by civil society organizations and the government through its Ministry of Justice.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, a top Western defense minister on the state of play in Ukraine, almost 1 year after Vladimir Putin launched his invasion of the country. It comes from British Defence Secretary Ben Wallace, who, like all his NATO colleagues, believes that 12 months on, Ukraine is engaged in a war that it can win with the Russian army.
Remember, Russia aimed to take 8 main objectives, Kyiv, Odessa, all these big cities. It hasn't managed to take a single one, and they have lost 188,000. 97% of the Russian army is now committed to Ukraine. That leaves 3% guarding Norway, Vladivostok in the Far East, the other borders with China. I mean, that's all in. Ukraine has taken back most of the territory, but not all, that Russia took in February last year. And eventually that will come back to the Russian population and they'll realize, 188,000 people have wives and mothers and family and friends. As long as the West stays united and continues to supply Ukraine, I think Ukraine still has the momentum.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is certainly feeling bullish, telling the BBC on Thursday that he won't give up any of his country's territory in negotiations that may eventually take place with Vladimir Putin. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, analysts say Russia's unlikely to hit its goal of capturing Bakhmut by the anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's in Belfast for meetings amid claims a Northern Ireland Protocol deal is close. Japan's coalition is agreeing to empower the Defence Force to shoot down flying objects in its airspace, and the US is set to return $950,000 to the Nigerian government. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
As your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed, safety trainer is still preaching a warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Words team at safetywords.com or call Jim Polzel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. In his book, 3 Cups of Tea, Greg Mortensen relates a life-changing experience he had while building schools in the remote areas of Pakistan. Although the Baltas loved his generosity, his hard-driving manner was threatening to alienate them. Finally, the presiding elder took him aside, and over bowls of scalding butter tea, he said, "If you want to thrive in Baltistan, you must respect our ways. The first time you share tea with the Balta, you are a stranger. The second time you take tea, you are an honored guest. The third time you share a cup of tea, you become family. And for family, we are prepared to do anything, even die. Lord, teach us to slow down and build relationships. Amen." If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
I remember back to the times before we got on in life. That's back when I thought that you were the one. We never had our time. I thought that in the end.
Well, this is still the Rated R Safety Show, even though it sounds like we're getting a little lovey-dovey this morning. I thought Valentine's Day already happened. Okay, this right here is a song called Never in Love. Yeah, this is coming from Pacific. Songs readily available on YouTube Music, on Spotify, and Apple Music. Yes, there is no doubt on where you can take a listen to some of this stuff. Yeah, we got it all moving and grooving for you. Oh, yes, the love of the songs. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's talk. Let's get you back in. Thanks, Pacific, for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Love can suck sometimes, if I'm honest. Truer words have never been spoken, my friend. There you go. So let's get into the move and groove of things, and let's talk about what is going on this fantastic Friday. By the way, this is hour number 1 of 3. If you want to hang out with me, we only do 1 hour on video because nobody should go through that kind of torture in their life of seeing me on video for 3 hours. Who wants to do that for 180 minutes in that particular regards? And who knows what I'm going to be doing? We do some weird stuff inside of this station. This is kind of the way that it goes. But let me tell you real quick about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And that is about my friends at the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. So listen, if you're struggling, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Text the word TALK to 988 or call 988. That will start moving everything forward in regards to what needs to be done. I know we all go through struggles. We all go through things that are difficult in life, but these people are there to assist you. And that will be step 1. If you look at it, it's step 1. Because you deserve, and yes, I did say that, you deserve to love you. Best way to put it. Best way to put it when you start thinking about it. You deserve to love you. 988lifeline.org, 988 via text, 988 via phone call. So there you go. That's the way that you set everything up in regards of being able to move forward with what they have going on. Keep that in mind if you are going through any level of struggles. That is for sure, as we are talking. So, not sure what the hell you have going on this weekend, but let's talk about it. If you're planning on going to the movies, let's talk about a couple of movies that are coming out today. Ant-Man and the Wasp, the Quantum Mania. The superhero partners explore the quantum realm where they interact with strange creatures and embark on the adventure that goes beyond the limits of what they thought was possible. So there you go. That comes out today. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yeah, it's a rated R movie. Christopher Robin's, now a young man, has left Winnie and Piglet to fend for themselves after getting a taste of blood. They set off to find a new source of food. It's not only before their bloody rampage begins. Now, I want you to think about this because you're going to sit back and go, how in the hell is Winnie the Pooh doing that? That's what happens when you use stuff that's public domain. And that's what's going on. It's public domain, so they're able to do that. Just wait till it happens in 2030. What is it, 2036? When Batman becomes public domain. And you have to kind of look at the limitations of what the hell's going on. Anyways, let me give you two quick news stories. Product development real quick, because you're going to be probably intrigued by this one. Uber has added new audio recording function to its app in Canada, which says that it's an optional safety feature. Uber users can turn on audio recording in the safety toolbox or toolkit, depending on where you're at, section in the app. From there, have the option to record audio during the trip by tapping the blue shield icon. Both riders and drivers can use the feature at any time during the ride. Recording automatically stops shortly after the end of the rides, or users can stop themselves. The company says that it hopes that the feature will help give the riders and drivers a peace of mind by encouraging comfortable and positive interaction while on the trips. So if you know the Uber driver, be sure to ask if their blooper tape is next. So there you go. That's something to think about. And then coming out of the land of Pepsi, yes, good old Pepsi is bringing back the Peeps flavored soda. Yeah, they promise it this time that it'll be easier to find than an Easter egg. For the first time, Pepsi and Peeps is available for sale at retailers in the U.S., changed from its debut 2 years ago when a few thousands of the sodas were given away in a contest. At the time, it became the online trend, prompting people to resell the novelty product for hundreds of dollars. The drinks mixes the taste of Pepsi with the pillowy, soft, and sweet marshmallow flavor of Peeps. Did you know anyone else immediately, or just wonder what the rum and Pepsi Peeps would taste like? I mean, I'm just asking the question. So there you go. Maybe today could be your big Pepsi day, depending on how you want to take a look at it. That's something to think about for sure as we are talking. Anyways, let's get into some news as things are going on inside of the world. Take a listen to this. A new study says that Americans are ditching ties and suits at the office for casual wear, and not just on Fridays. Bree Tennis has more.
Hawaii came up with the casual Friday trend back in the 90s. It quickly spread to California and then the rest of the country. But COVID may have made that once-a-week office perk a daily occurrence. BusinessWire.com says 53% of everyday business wear is now casual. They say 43% of us wear jeans to work, 20% show up in flip-flops, and 16% wear yoga pants to the office. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
Hold on. If you're showing up in flip-flops, are you here in good old Florida? Because that's what it sounds like. That's for sure. Anyway, San Francisco officials are alerting the public about a new drug called Trank. Yeah, Supervisor Matt Dorsey tells NBC Bay Area about the impact of overdose and death in the city.
We are seeing a loss of life that we have not seen in San Francisco since the AIDS crisis to one drug, fentanyl. And now we've got some new and deadlier ones on the horizon.
Officials say that the drug is a combination of fentanyl and horse tranquilizer, and it causes severe lesions and seems to be resistant to Narcan, a drug used to reverse the opioid overdose. So there you go. Oakland community leaders gathered to say that they're upset about the mayor's decision to fire the police chief. Victory Baptist Church pastor Marty Peters spoke on the rally on Thursday.
When is the citizens' voice going to matter to this mayor? Yes. You have been in office for a few weeks and you have made a major mistake.
Mayor Sheng Tao fired Armstrong without cause on Wednesday for mishandling two misconduct cases against one of his sergeants. Community leaders Carl Chan tells NBC Bay Area that Armstrong is or was a good leader.
We have gone through so much trauma, and it's time that finally we have this chief. He is able to bring us back together.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens out of that because, people are going to do what they need to do in regards of talking about this. Anyways, take a listen to this. Federal and local officials are assuring residents in East Palestine, Ohio, that they are safe despite of the toxic chemicals exposure following a trail derailment. Luke Glavin says that they're too afraid to return to his home half a mile away from the crash site.
I don't want to go home because I don't have the answers to go home. And you're saying it's okay, but don't drink the water, use bottled water. That doesn't make sense.
Anger is mounting in East Palestine nearly 2 weeks after the controlled burn of hazardous chemicals spilled during the derailment. The EPA Administrator Michael Regan visited the community and said that the air water quality tests have shown no contamination. Officials are promising to expand the environmental testing to areas further from the crash site to urging the residents to seek medical attention if they are feeling ill. Norfolk Southern, the train operator, is telling the community, "We will not walk away." I have so many ridiculous comments to say there. Teresa McGuire at the local county humane center for East Palestine says that she hears about sick pets and livestock every day.
We're hearing a lot of this. We're hearing a lot of decreased appetite, not wanting to drink. If they do drink, they're throwing up.
EPA Administrator Michael Regan says the process of monitoring things never stops.
First and foremost, I'm a father, a husband. All families want to be safe, and they need to know that their air is clean and their water is safe to drink.
Okay, but hold on. Are you, I don't understand that. I'm a husband, I'm a father, my family, but are you in that area? Do you feel okay with drinking the water? If somebody's telling you to drink bottled water and not to drink the water, I sure as shit am not going to take a shower in it, because if I can't drink it, why am I going to bathe with it? There's just a lot of things to think about there as you're putting that.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, Motivation Minute coming up because I think we need it.
Today's Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Rod. Nora Roberts said, "If you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't step forward, you're always in the same place." Excellent quote. I actually learned part of this in sales. If you don't ask, you're saying no for them. I've never been a pushy salesperson. I'm not a fan of that myself, but I do enjoy giving people the opportunity to say yes to something. And I love selling ideas, bringing someone a solution to help them fix a problem, large or small. It's fun to help somebody get over a stumbling block that's keeping them from growing. And like Nora said, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlyssaMorgan.com. Caffeine is the most well-known component in coffee, but it contains more than 100 biologically active components, including many polyphenols. The benefits on longevity and lower risks of cardiovascular disease, the number one killer in most developed countries, were found in decaf coffee, which does not contain much caffeine. But the caffeine has a surprising benefit. Ground in instant coffee, but not decaffeinated, was associated with an up to 17% reduction in arrhythmias, including atrial fibrillation compared with non-coffee drinkers. In a study including almost 450,000 adults, drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee per day was linked to a 27% lower all-cause mortality, in other words, dying from all non-accidental causes. For more information, check out AlyssaMorgan.com.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. Currently 54 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out doing our thing, because that is what exactly is going on inside of this lovely. There is no doubt about that. So let's talk real quick because I got limited time of hanging out with you unless you're going to be going over to radiobig.fm, which you're more than welcome on doing that, or hanging out on the iHeartRadio app, or you can stay here because you know what? If you stay here, you get to listen to Sheldon Primus on Safety FM, so there are some options right there. Before I forget, let's talk about this one more time. Safety Worlds Collide. Sam Goodman, Brett Sutton, and yours truly all taking place in a little event taking place in person, available in Phoenix, Arizona, May the 9th through the 10th. If you want to come hang out and do the things that we get to do over there. We have early bird special going on right now. I can't tell you how much longer it'll be running, but it is going on right now as we speak. All you have to do is go to safetyfm.io to find out more information. That's safetyfm.io, and you can find out some more info. Would love to see you there in exactly, Phoenix. Who doesn't want to go to Phoenix in May? I mean, come on. So let's take a look around at some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2011, the Arab Springs begins the earnest when reports of uprising and revolt in Libya begin to hit American airwaves. The revolt would eventually lead to the overthrowing of the dictator Muammar Gaddafi, who was later captured and executed. Yep, that happened back in 2011. In 2020, Amazon's Jeff Bezos pledges $10 billion to help fight climate change, which he calls the biggest threat to our planet. The funds will go towards the creation of Bezos' Earth Fund. So there you go. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about some of those. Bonnie Wright turns 32. Ed Sheeran, 32. Joseph Gordon-Levitt turns 42 today. Paris Hilton, 42. Jason Ritter, 43. Jerry O'Connell, 49. Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day turns 51. Denise Richards, 52. Michael Bay, 58. Larry the Cable Guy turns 60. Michael Jordan turned 60. And Jim Brown, he turns 87 today. So that's all birthdays that are going on today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you. It's National No One Eats Alone Day, National Cabbage Day, National Random Acts of Kindness Day, and World Human Spirit Day. And My Way Day. I think some of us celebrate that more often than just today. Just throwing that out there as some idea as we are talking. So there you go. That's what's going on with days of the years that you can celebrate. If you're taking a look around and you need a random joke for today, I have one of those for you. No man goes before his time unless the boss leaves early. Think about that. If you need a phone starter for today, what random act of kindness did someone do for you? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Try this one. 10% of us do this before going grocery shopping. What is it? Eating. Yes, eating is probably the best solution of what to do because you don't want to go in there hungry. You know what's going to happen? You're going to buy everything under the sun. Just kind of the way that it goes. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. I appreciate you coming out this morning and hanging out as we get to do everything live and in living color as we are doing everything on a Friday. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope your day turns out to exactly what you want it to be. Because remember, you get to control what the hell exactly goes on throughout your day. Think about it. The way that you react to things will always be the impact. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM, and that is the listener, because without you, we cannot do what we do. And of course, part of Radio Big as well. And so if I can leave you with a deep thought for this weekend, think about this. Blessed are those who can give without remembering and take without forgetting. Give without remembering and take without forgetting. Boy, will that change the way that you look at life for sure. Anyways, that's going to sum it up. I appreciate our time together. I know who you are. For sure I do.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. Have a fantastic weekend. I hope to see you Monday if you're not sticking around.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.